So welcome to my channel Nanovate. In this video we're gonna discuss about the pulmonary ventilation and we're also going to discuss about the lung compliance. So here it is shown the mechanism of the contraction and expansion of the respiratory muscles, that is the diaphragm, and the muscles of the intercostal spaces include the external intercostal, internal intercostal, and the movement in the vertical diameter and the anterior posterior diameter. So one thing we should remember in the lung compliance, before discussing the lung compliance, we should know the partial pressure and the alveolar pressure. The pleural pressure, that is the difference, that is the pressure between the two pleuras or pleural cavities or the pleuras of the thoracic cage. The first pleura is of thoracic chest wall and the second pleura is of the lung itself. So the difference or the space between this pleura, these two pleuras, is called as the pleural space, and the pressure inside the pleural space because of the pleural fluid is called as the pleural pressure. That is also called as the intrapleural pressure because it between the thoracic and the lung pleura. The second pressure important is the alveolar pressure. That is the pressure of the air inside the lung alveoli. This pressure is also called as the intrapulmonary pressure because it is inside the lung and it is inside the pulmonary cavity. So the two pressures, that is the pleural pressure and the alveolar pressure, are interconnected with each other by the transpulmonary pressure. What is the transpulmonary pressure? It is just simply the difference between the pleural pressure and the alveolar pressure. So transpulmonary pressure is a very important term for the compliance of the lung. That is our next topic. So in this graph it is shown the lung compliance and the value of the lung compliance during the inspiration and the expiration. The normal lung having the compliance about 200 milliliter. What is lung compliance? The lung compliance is simply the amount of the air that is present in the lungs. You can say the amount of the expandation of the lungs, how much the lung can expand and how much the air can accommodate in the lung is called as a lung compliance, or simply the lung capacity to accumulate the air for the gases exchange is lung compliance. And the formula of the lung compliance is simply the change in the volume by the change in the transpulmonary pressure, that is the pressure difference between the pleural pressure and the alveolar pressure. So, if we take the lung compliance, simply the amount of the expandation of the lung is called as a lung compliance. So, in this diagram, here you can see it is shown a graph between the pleural pressure on the x-axis and the lung volume on the y-axis. So, I have said that change in the volume and the transpulmonary pressure, here it is showing the pleural pressure. In the changes in these two are the formula for compliance of lung. So this is an inverse relation between the lung compliance and the pleural pressure. When the volume increase, the pressure will ultimately going to decrease. Here it is shown the expiratory case. Here the volume is going to increase and in the inspiration the volume is going to ultimately comes towards the normal state. That is the increased volume because of the increased air accommodation in the lung, increased compliance of the lung, and then there will be inspiration, the increased compliance of the lung, and then there will be a expiration, that is a expiration of air, and ultimately the volume will going to decrease and the pressure will going to increase in the lung. Also, one more important thing, that this lung compliance is depending upon the two forces. The first force is the elastic force of the lungs. The elastic force of the lungs are provided by the elastic and the collagen fibers that are present on the walls of the lung cavities. So they are forming the elastic forces and they are going to cause the pressure on the lungs and they are responsible for the lung compliance. The second force that is responsible for the lung compliance is the surface tension. The surface tension, that is simply the tension of the fluid inside the alveoli, and this surface tension prevents the collapse of the lung. It prevents the collapse of the lung. So this surface tension is also going to increase the compliance of the lung because there is a less collapse of the lung and there is a more space in the lung, so lung can more expand or their lung compliance will more increases. So the normal lung compliance of the two lungs without including the thoracic cavity is about 200 milliliter. It means that 200 milliliter of air can come inside the lung during the inspiration and it can expire during the expiration. So this was the diagram and this was the overview about the lung compliance, the pressures and the pressure difference. If in a condition when there is no surface tension or any decrease in the elastic forces of the lung, what happens is the decrease in the lung compliance. compliance. If we see the saline condition, if there is only the fluid inside the lung and there is no surface tension, so there will be no expandation or the capacity of lung to accommodate the air, so lungs will not swell or expand and they will look like this. The graph will show this, that is an increase in the here you can see the saline condition, because there is no surface tension to expand the lung, so there is a decrease in the compliance of the lung and there will be decrease in the expandation of the lung. So this is a shown of a normal lung, in which there is a normal lung compliance because of the normal elastic force and normal surface tension. So this was the explanation. I hope you'll be explained well. Thank you for subscribe for more.